ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Vocast. I'm your host, Drew. We're going to be doing another reaction and analysis today. If in case you can't tell in my voice, I've got a nasty head cold going on. It was much worse yesterday, but I'm feeling a little bit better today. Good enough to do a reaction analysis, and I'm still feeling good enough to do the podcast with Elizabeth tonight. So, also, you like the new setup and the mic? I've had this stuff for a while, but I've not really thought about using it until today. So I decided to hook it all up, play with it a little bit. I got everything how I want it. So we're going to try it on a reaction and analysis video. Since it's December and Christmas is coming up, we're going to be doing Geoff Castellucci's cover of I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas. This is going to be a good one since we all know Geoff likes to do some pretty intense music, and we know he crushes it every time. So with that said, we're going to jump to the disclaimer for the video, then we're going to jump right in after that. Full disclaimer, I am not a musical genius in any way, shape, or form. I'm just simply sharing my musical insight and knowledge with you, so that way we can get a better understanding of the music that we enjoy every single day. With that said, I've got one more piece of info for you, then we'll jump in. This is going to be a musical analysis video in addition to a first-time reaction video. What does that mean for you as the audience? That means that there's going to be a lot of starting, stopping, and there's going to be a ton of pausing. So if you don't like starting and stopping in reaction videos, this may not be for you, but I stop so much just so that way we can get a better understanding of the music, and so that way we can get a better appreciation for the little tidbits here and there whenever we're listening to this music. Excuse me. With that said, let's dive in. All right, folks, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1. This is cool, guys. This is really cool. So, is my camera... It looks like my camera is like crooked or something. Sorry. So what's really cool about the beginning here is that it's very... I mean, he's obviously harmonizing with himself. He does this all the time in his recordings. He does a very vocal heavy singing style. So he doesn't typically do like just one recordings, just one lead part and be done with it. And it tends to work out really well considering he harmonizes very well with himself. So this section at the beginning, it's pretty pulled back, nothing too crazy. So he's doing some nice little harmonies to kind of bring us into the swingy section of White Christmas here. And typically this piece, or this song, is typically very jazzy, very swingish, very swing. It's got a lot of swing in it. So, excuse me, didn't mean to bump a space bar there. But I will go ahead and run this through this part here, and we'll move on after that. I don't think Geoff's going lower than a C2. He did do a nice breathy C2 here, but it's nice and pulled back, balanced. So let's listen to this and we'll go into the swing section. There's some good examples of what I talked about in previous videos here. There's some dissonance in some of these chords. So just keep an eye out for that little grindy sound that you'll hear. It'll almost be like grindy, but it's not that. It'll sound like it clashes a little, but it won't be too obvious. So, and by the way, for those that don't know, dissonance is what happens whenever you've got two notes that are close to each other in pitch, but not exactly the same. Typically a half a step apart, kind of like this, or this, you know, etc. That dissonance is the grindy like feel that you hear between the notes. So, and I say that to say that he's doing that in these chords that are, excuse me, he's doing that in some of these chords with his arrangement. He's got some notes that don't belong within the triad of the chord, and therefore they create some dissonance. So with that said, let's jump in. We'll go into the swing section. Nice C2, Geoff. I think they start in the key of B here. Let's see. Yeah, key of B. B major. No, I'm sorry. I think it's in G major. Hang on. Yep, G major.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and chew.
Before I go on, if I did get the key wrong there, guys, I'm sorry about that, but to me it sounds like G major. That's what it sounds like to me, so we're going to back up a little bit. I kind of zoned out a little when I was listening to this, so I apologize, but we'll continue on. He's got some staccato does in the back, so it gives a little, keeps it fresh, almost gives it a little bit of a, like a, makes you want to bob with it, in addition to the snaps you're also hearing in the background, like this. So, listen for those does. Now that you've got all these people that are harmonizing right here, listen for the do. I backed up too far. Sorry about that. Those does and the background harmonies are what's really filling out the sound. The piano's not doing too much. Of course, the piano is doing the bass line for the most part in this little section, but other than that, that's pretty much the only thing that's happening here. So it's really a nice little swing. He's got a snap going. He's got the piano doing the bass line, and he's also doing he's filling it out whatever. I don't know what I just said. He's filling out the rest of the sound with his voice after the piano. So it's kind of surprising though, because I figured he would do the bass line with his voice and not a piano, but it's an interesting little twist there. So we'll see what else we've got in store.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear.
You can tell by the way he just casually laid that C2 out for you that he's a solid low bass, and he did it quietly and with a lot of control too. So C2 is like, it's not a super low note for anyone that doesn't know. I mean, this is a note that a lot of bass singers can do. I mean, I've done a lot of singing today and my voice is gassed, but this note here that he just sang, this note here, it's not an inherently low note, but if you can do a C2 so naturally and casually, then it's pretty indicative of a much larger and much thicker bass range than you would hear. Then let me back up. Excuse me. So when you hear a thick C2, like he just did, well, I'm struggling. When you hear a C2 like he just did, it's so quiet, but if he just kind of lays it out super easily like that, then typically they've got a much larger range than you originally thought, and they've typically got a thicker voice than you thought too. So if they could just casually boom lay a C2 out in front of you like this, then it's a pretty good indicator that this singer's probably got several semitones or several tones below that as far as their range, and they probably have a darker timbre in there somewhere in addition to a thicker C2 and thicker low notes too. So pretty cool.
And children listen to hear.
Do you hear how he just boom? He just lays it in front of you. He's not like bam in your face, but he's just like, here's a C2. We'll move on.
And children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow.
So there's something really cool about his method of singing here and his timbre. So he's doing he's keeping it very light and pulled back, and he's not like over darkening, and he's not doing it very light either, or very. I mean, it's somewhere in the middle. Like it's almost like he's telling a story, like he's talking, but it's a very balanced timbre. I mean, and it's quiet, but it's not breathy quiet, and it's appropriate considering this piece is a laid back swing piece, if that makes sense. It's a nice, peaceful Christmas song that you would want to hear, like in the background while you're baking cookies at home or something like that, you know. So, I mean, it wouldn't be too appropriate if he's just slamming G1s and such, like all the time. I mean, it would. I'm sure he's gonna do something crazy in this because that's typically what Geoff does, but he's keeping a light method to his voice and his timbre, so it's his timbre and his method of singing really matches the swing feel of the music. So nice job with balancing the lead vocal voice method there.
The snow. Well, I'm dreaming of a white.
And for those that don't know Geoff Castellucci, he is a low bass singer. All of these notes that he's singing, piece of daggone cake for him. He can do this in his sleep. I mean, he's got a much lower range than this, and he's got a thick timbre. It's dark timbre, so this is just something that doesn't. This is like he could do this in his sleep. So I mean, the fact that he's just kind of, I mean, this is very light method. So he's just like, you know, he's just, there's very low effort singing. But the funny thing is that it's not that it's low effort, because he's just like, they don't need anything good, you know. I can sing like this and I get 1 million views. No, it's not like that. It's more to fit the feel of the song, if you get what I'm saying. So that, and the fact that he doesn't need to slam low notes in an entire song, or this entire song, to hammer across that he's got skill, he's got control, and he knows how to fit the vibe of a song in his arrangements. So well done, Geoff.
Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days, may your days, may your days be merry and bright.
And those that don't know, he's got a really nice high range too. So he can go clean into the 4th octave, no problem. So super talented.
And may all your Christmases be white.
I knew something crazy was coming. So let's see what low note he hit here.
All your Christmases be white.
I think that was an A1.
May all your Christmases be white.
It sounded like an A1. Hang on. It sounded like that. I was expecting a G1, but I just heard a A1 there. So
I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming.
listen for some dooms in the background that he's doing here. One of his background Geoffs over here. Those are also kind of the backbone of his singing here, in addition to the piano.
I'm dreaming. The sun is shining, the grass is green, the orange and palm trees sway. Ain't never been such a day.
There's cool 2 little quick things there. So he's like I said, he's got a good high range, so you can go clean it into the 4th octave, no problem. And there was also some dissonance there. Listen for it as we move on here.
Ain't never been such a day. In Beverly Hills, LA.
That's a nice little walk up there, Geoff. Where did he start for low notes there? B1.
Ain't never been such a day. In Beverly
Yeah, so B1, C2.
Hills, LA. Come on.
That was a thick G1 there. Hashtag G1 Geoff in the house, people.
Of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know. Like the ones I used to know. Where the treetops.
I think I missed it. We're going back here. We're going to go back again. I'm going to find this G1 he just did.
Beverly Hills, LA. Come on.
That was stupid thick. Hello. I'm going to try to imitate it as we listen to it again, and then we'll move on.
Ain't never been such a day. In Beverly Hills, LA. Come on. Dreamin' of a white.
That is insanely thick. He's got such good vocal fold closure on that G1. That is monstrous. That is why I call him G1 Geoff, because his G1s are nuts.
Christmas, just like the ones I used to know. Like the ones I used to know. Where the
Where'd you go there, Geoff? Where'd you go?
ones I used to know. Like the ones I used to know.
Went to a B1, might have went farther.
Where the treetops glisten and children listen until they hear sleigh bells in the snow. The snow.
Oh, hello, that was an interesting chord. He went from a B to B flat. In this chord, he went up a half step.
Children listen until they hear sleigh bells in the snow. The snow.
No, he went from an A to a B flat. So he went, ha. That was really cool.
Children listen until they
And for those that don't know in this context, so whenever he went up there, it wasn't just that note in particular that went up. The whole entire chord that they were singing went up one half step. So that was really cool.
and children listen until they hear sleigh bells in the snow. The snow. Well, I'm dreaming.
Harmonic soup, folks. Ear candy. Listen to these background harmonies. He's going all over the place with the pitches and chords here. So while you're listening to the leads, take a second to run the video back and listen to some of these background harmonies. He's crazy with his arrangements and stuff.
Sleigh bells in the snow. The snow. Well, I'm dreaming of a white. Dreaming of a white. With every Christmas card. Well, with every card I write. May your days be merry and bright. And may all your Christmases be white.
I may or may not have been thinking that there was going to be a G1 where he just did the G2 there. So I'm almost positive we're going to get the G1 to finish the song.
Your Christmases be white.
There was a G1, a bit of a slide there. That was really cool. Where did he start on a G flat, or F sharp? Let's see. I don't know. I think he started lower.
And may all your Christmases be white.
I think he started on the F sharp, G flat 1 there. Sick stuff.
Your Christmases be white.
he just went. He just did like a little bit of a riff there in his lower range. That was really cool.
Christmas is be wise, and may all your Christmases be wise.
Jeez. Okay, so I was not expecting those chord shifts. So
and may all your Christmases be wise.
So this chord that he just sang started off. Let's see. So the low note he started off.
Christmases be.
So he hits his D2 here. No, that was an E. Like I said, my voice is shot today. But he hit this note here, and then it goes up. The whole chord, including this note, goes up a half step. So it goes from this to this. Crazy, man. And then it goes up a whole step. So it goes from this note to this note. Then it goes to this note. That's really cool. So he goes the half step and then he goes the whole step. That's neither of those chords belong within the key that this song is in, but it's a really, really cool musical contrast piece there. Excuse me.
And may all your Christmases be wise.
So he also comes back down, so he goes this. Then he does the same thing, but backwards. That's a really, really cool thing to do there with your arrangement, Geoff. Nice.
All your Christmases be wise.
But instead of going back to the D, so he goes like this. Instead of going to this D like he would have in the reverse order, he goes to his G1. That's sick. Listen to this one more time, then we'll call it. But he kind of slides down to that G1 too. So he slides down from like right around a B-ish to, he kind of slides down from that B1 to the G1. Hashtag G1 Geoff, folks. G1 Geoff. That is nuts. And this G1 was a little bit breathier than the one that was earlier in the song. Not by much, but it was a little bit breathier. So, touch of musical contrast there. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Very, very nice stuff. Geoff is blowing our socks off yet again, but he didn't go too awful crazy. Stayed within his chest range as far as I can tell. I don't think he did any subs or anything in this, so this was sweet. That's the best way I can put it. It's a nice Christmas cover. It's a nice Christmas song done by a really good singer. So I'm digging it. Let's see what the rest of the video holds, and then we'll go ahead and call this reaction here.
Hey y'all, thanks for watching, and happy holidays. This video was made possible by all the fine folks over on Patreon, but especially Holger Draco, Debs Badger, Bosa Lagnestall and Dorothy Bruin, Carl and Melanie Thomas, Skylar Harris, Emily Zabst, Debbie Goodling, Patricia Skuman, Laura Mueller, and Sarah O. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
You're welcome, Geoff. Also, if you haven't considered supporting him on Patreon, he puts out a lot of work. In case you are ever interested in doing that, he's super talented, and the money that he gets from the patrons and all the other money he makes, he turns around, puts it right back into his work. So, and as you guys can tell, his work is great, and it continues to get better as he goes. So, man, that was good. So, I'm just about all out of time for this one, but this is a cool little piece. I mean, it wasn't that musically complicated. I mean, there was some really nice little trinkets in there, but it really wasn't that bad. I mean, like that's like musically. I wanted to stop and evaluate some of these chords, but it's it's like I say in every video. If I were to break down every single chord, it would take me all day and all night because of how talented the arrangers are for the music that I cover. So yeah, with that said, that's going to be it for this reaction and musical breakdown. I apologize if there wasn't enough musical content in this one, but I mean, really there was. But what I'm saying is, I feel like if there wasn't enough musical breakdowns in this, then perhaps there will be some more in the future as far as like content within the song to break down. But it's a simple song, it's a simple arrangement, it's really sweet. I love it, and it was a good one to react to. So with that said, this has been Drew on the Vocast. Also, if you will, just drop me a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you haven't subscribed already and you're still watching the videos, we would love to have you. We've got some really exciting things planned for this year and 2023. So with that said, we're off. Take care. I'll see you guys later.